No.
Tigers. Fight Tigers. Fight. Mike, it's not even a top 1,000 moment all time.
Okay, Tommy, shut the hell up, man.
Mike! Of course, I'm gonna go with the right answer. It's Ryan Eads of the Baltimore Orioles. He's only wore the number 80 for 8 games. He's only one of 2 players.
You know what? No, I'm not gonna take this.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We are on episode 95 today. We are happy to be back. Matt is back. Unfortunately, Tommy's out of the picture yet again, but we're happy to have Matt back. We had a nice baseball episode last week. Today it's going to be a little more basketball centric. Is Team US in trouble? You know, we're going to be talking about that. But first, as always, GOAT of the number. In this case, go the number 95. Matt, I'll swing it to you first.
I feel like it's either me or Tommy, and then in that case, I feel like you guys would rather want. Well, not you'd rather want Tommy, but having Tommy on is.
I had more fun with Tommy last week.
I figured. I mean, I needed to take a little break after Connor's episode the week before. It was a little break. I don't know, a break from recording, I guess, and seeing you guys. Mike, I missed your beautiful face, but let's get right in.
Ouch.
But going right into the GOAT of the number 95. There was 2 guys that I really looked at here, and of course I had to search their names up because I know I'm a very intelligent person, but I'm not that intelligent to go back all the way to the 1990s and know every single player. But I'm gonna go with a little curveball here. I'm gonna go with Greg Lloyd, linebacker, played for Pittsburgh 1 year with Carolina, but I don't really care about that year with Carolina. Between those 2 guys, Lloyd and the person who you guys are probably one of you guys are going to pick, so I'm not going to spoil that at all. But the difference between Lloyd and that person is Lloyd was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. Not entirely sure why he's not in the Hall of Fame because honestly, looking at his stats compared to the other guy, I just believe that Lloyd's stats were better than his. I mean, having an All-Pro 3 times in a row, and we're talking about an individual person, the All-Pro, he played in 10 years. He had an All-Pro 3 years in a row. He had his Pro Bowls were 5 in a row, and he played pretty much every single game of those 5 years. Yeah. Yes, he played 2 years. He didn't play every single game, but missed 1. So looking at that, I feel like it was a shorter tenure than the guy that you're gonna say. But I feel like he was the better player here, and a better individual player, and I got to go with him for the GOAT number 95.
All right. Matt got his pick in. Connor, what about you?
I'm going to go that other guy that Matt is alluding to. I'm going to go to Richard Dent, former Chicago Bear, where he spent most of his career. He also played for the San Francisco 49ers, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Philadelphia Eagles for 1 year. He's a Hall of Famer, a 4-time Pro Bowler. He does have an All-Pro under his belt, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Obviously, Super Bowls are a team stat there, but he still was a part of those teams. 137 and a half career sacks, 671 career tackles, 37 career forced fumbles. He had 11 straight years with at least 8 sacks. I mean, he was dominant for Chicago, and then when he made that transition over to San Francisco and then Indianapolis and Philly, he only played in 2 complete seasons there in those last 4 years. I'm doing a lot of counting right now, a lot of numbers on my screen, but now, I mean, throughout his career, 137 and a half sacks and the amount of tackles that he had with the amount of forced fumbles. I mean, he led the league in 1985 with 7 forced fumbles and 17 sacks in that 1985 year where he did go to the Pro Bowl and won an All-Pro. So definitely a great career from Richard Dent, and he's who I'm going with here for 95.
Yeah, Matt, you had a great pick, and he was my second choice here, but I'm going to agree with Connor here. I just think Richard Dent had the better career. He was consistently a menace on the defensive line. Connor mentioned how many 8-sack seasons he had. He had 8 10-plus sack seasons, and those are nearly all in a row except for 1989. But 2 17-sack seasons as well. So very productive. Connor mentioned a lot of the stats there, and he contributed to two different Super Bowl winning teams. So that's also great. Obviously, Greg Lloyd is a great pick here as well. But I just think that Richard Denton is the better option because of the sack totals, and he has nearly the same amount of forced fumbles being a defensive lineman compared to being a linebacker. Where
But he also played more years.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I understand that. I think he played 5 more years, but still, I still think Richard Dent. I'll give him the slight edge here over your guy.
I don't know. I just think Greg, just looking at their stat, like I just think he's Greg Lloyd is better. And Richard Dent was obviously a great player, but these both guys are both great players. But Richard Dent, 1985, Connor, you said was a great year. That was his year he got the All Pro. But I mean, he went 4 years without a Pro Bowl, got a Pro Bowl, 2 years without a Pro Bowl, then got a Pro Bowl. I don't know. I just think it was and he didn't play all of those games those years. I would have loved to see a little more consistency, kind of like what Greg Lloyd did in these.
I don't think you can say it's the lack
From
of
1991 to
I don't
1995.
think it's the lack of inconsistency, though. Although he didn't make the Pro Bowl, I mean, he still had 11 and a half sacks in 86, 12 and a half in 87, 10 and a half in 90 or 88, in 9 and 89, and 12 in 1990, and then 10 and a half in 91, 8 and a half in 92, 12 and a half in 93. I mean, how much more consistent can you get than with those sack numbers there from a defensive end?
I mean, I would have liked to see more All Pros and Pro Bowls on his resume rather than what he has. And the 2 Super Bowls, I don't take that too much into account. I mean, he was on a Chicago defensive line that was fantastic. We've had other really great Chicago picks for go to the numbers. I'm thinking like Mike Singletary. We've had before Mike Ditka also. So I'm not taking that hugely into account. I'm taking it a little into account, but not hugely. But yes, Richard Dent was a fantastic player. I'm not going to deny that. I just am going to give Greg Lloyd a slight edge.
I think one thing you got to look at is that I think in the middle of like his career, like you're talking about the 86 to 88 stretch, he wasn't able to play all those games because of injury. He only
right
14, 12, then 12 games. But in those years, he had 11 and a half, 12 and a half, 10 and a half sacks respectively. You add all that up, that's nearly a sack a game, which is extremely impressive for a defensive lineman. So he was playing like a Pro Bowler, but unfortunately those injuries come into effect. And I understand if you don't like those injuries, but I think he definitely had a case for the Pro Bowl that year. Obviously, I'm not an NFL historian to know exactly what happened in those years from 87 to 89 or whatever, right? But I think that the stats prove that he was still playing at a high level. And, once again, I'll just give him a slight edge over Greg Lloyd, and I think Connor agrees.
I think he does.
I do agree.
Awesome. Glad we're all on the same page, Jesus, with what Connor thinks. But anyways, let's get into our U.S. Olympic basketball segment. Are they in trouble? Are they okay? We'll let you know coming up next.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back. We're going to talk a little bit about Team USA basketball. The Olympics started this Friday. Fantastic to have the Olympics back. Unfortunately, we couldn't have it last year, obviously due to COVID. But now we got the 2020 Olympics in 2021. And for USA basketball, it didn't start out the way that they wanted to. They lost their match against France on Sunday morning, Eastern time, of course. They lost 76 to 83, ended their 25-win Olympic win streak, which dates back all the way to 2004, the last time they lost. And that year in 2004, they won the bronze medal. Yes, they won the bronze medal. So, and I would just like to highlight they did lose their last 3 of 4 games. 2 of them being exhibition games previous this year. Losing to Nigeria, and I want to say the other one was. Do you guys know? I think it was
Australia.
Australia.
Australia. Yes, Australia. So with that being said, Stephen A. Smith went to Instagram. He said his thoughts. Matthew Berry said, what is going on? I'm going to ask you guys, what is going on with Team USA? Should we be worried about them? Should we expect a gold still? Because, of course, Americans, all they expect is a gold from Team USA, especially in men's basketball and women's basketball too. What should we expect? Do you think the person that they're going to get a gold? What do you think is going to be the outlook for the men during these Olympics? Connor, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I'll tell you something right now. They're not coming home back to the United States with that gold medal around their neck. I just don't see it happening. The team hasn't mended well together like we've seen in recent memory back in 2012, 1996 when Jordan was on those Olympic teams. Obviously different times, different players, all that sort of stuff, but they're just not mending together. And we take this game on Sunday as an example. When Kevin Durant, who is arguably your best player on the floor, shoots 4 for 12 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, or even Damian Lillard, your point guard, shoots 3 for 10 and is 3 for 9 from 3. I mean, those aren't numbers that win you a basketball game and puts you towards a gold medal. I don't know. I'm concerned about the team. Obviously, getting Chris Middleton, Devin Booker, and who was the other person? Drew Holiday. Getting them who lit it up in the fourth quarter there. Getting them back and on that team over in Tokyo could definitely be a step in the right direction, but I don't see it for USA this year.
Mike, I'm gonna throw it to you. Do you agree with Connor? Or are you still expecting a gold medal?
No, I'm not going to agree with Connor. I'm still expecting a gold medal. There's just way too much talent on this team for you to expect otherwise. Obviously they are not gelling together well, right? But the thing is, they're still losing these really close games to some of the best teams in the world. France, arguably that most talented team outside of the US, right? With Nick Batum, Evan Fournier, who dropped 28, Rudy Gobert, right? That team is actually really good. So I still expect, big things from the US. I still expect a goal, and anything less than that is a disappointment. There's just too much talent in their team. I think the problem lies, obviously there's like some different rule changes. The quarters are 10 minutes instead of 12. The 3-point shot is closer. I'm not exactly sure why they're having such an issue transitioning, but I think they just got to start playing more team basketball, if I'm being honest. Like, I think Greg Popovich needs to get down there and really give everyone a role. Kevin Durant, you're going to be our number one. Dame, you're going to be our number 2. Or Jason Tatum, you're going to be our number 2. Whoever it is, right? Whoever it is.
He had to mention Tatum. Had to mention Tatum.
Of course I did. Of course. So, I think everyone needs a defined role in their team. JaVale McGee, you're there to block shots and rebound. That's it. Draymond, you're there to lead, right? And play defense, right? Bam, block shots and rebound. Like they got to figure out their defined roles, and they got to come up with a good system that can include everyone. And from what we've seen so far, it just has not worked. It just hasn't worked for whatever reason, and it's disappointing because obviously we want to see our team win. But I think they're going to get it together, and I think they'll figure it out eventually.
Don't come at Bam Adebayo here. He had 12 points and 10 rebounds and shot the best percentage from the floor against France.
Well. Nah, but I agree with Mike. Bam should be there for rebounding and blocking.
100%. Bam's a big body to try to grab the ball. But don't discredit Bam Adebayo. He's a rising star in the NBA.
I never discredited him. I just said
I know.
That's what he's doing so far, and he's doing he's one of the better players in the US so far. So
big men can score too.
All right. Well,
Matt, what do you think? I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm used to this, to be honest, with all the go to the weeks when I go last. But I'm expecting a medal still, but I don't know. I'm not 100% expecting a gold medal, to be honest. I mean, when you look at this team already at a disadvantage, Okay, I already had a disadvantage from previous years, not as a disadvantage for other teams because they're obviously the most talented roster out there. But we look at other Team USA teams, 2016, 2012, 2008. I can't remember which one was the really good team. I think it was 2012. Could be
2012.
2008.
2012.
2012, yeah. You look at those teams, and those teams were just phenomenal. And you look at this United States team, I think it's a little step down. It's still the most talented roster out there right now in Tokyo, but it's a little step down. And when they're playing like this, I mean, like Connor said, the best player, in my opinion, in the NBA in the world, Kevin Durant, is shooting 4 for 12. You're not going to win that game. So I think they're going to need to start shooting efficiently and effectively coming up. I mean, they play Iran and Czech Republic in the next week for group stage. So they're definitely going to need to win those games. If they lose one, they're going to be out. And let's be real, if they make it out of group stage, it's going to be second if France beats Czech Republic and Iran too, which are both not good teams. And that means USA is going to be playing up against either Spain or Australia or a really good team like that. So I don't it's too hard to tell, but I'm going to say I don't expect a gold medal. I'm thinking they might get silver at this point. It's not even like I love USA, of course, we all know that. But I don't know. It's just a little red flag when they've lost their last 3 or 4 games, and I know getting Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, and Chris Middleton's fantastic. Drew Holiday off the bench was just 18 points, led the team. But I don't know. There's some really good teams out there. Not more talented, but I think they just play better. And I'm thinking of Spain, Australia, and maybe even meeting France in the gold medal game in the future. I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens.
Mhm. Yeah, Matt, you made some good points there, but they did beat Spain, if I'm not mistaken, in
They did.
exhibitions. That was another close game. So I really do think if they could turn some of these close games around, there should be a gold medal. And obviously these guys are zoned in. They don't want to, let everyone down. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be like 2014, right?
Yes.
That disappointing a lot. They want to be like the dream team. But the thing with the dream team is, what the crazy thing? Charles Barkley was the leading scorer on that team. So it wasn't like it doesn't have to be Kevin Durant who's the best player. I feel like almost all these players on the US are miles ahead of anyone else.
It's got to be Jason Tatum, right?
Open that door for Bam Adebayo.
There you go. Bam. Who knows? Like, seriously, the only other player on any other team that's better than most of the players in the U.S. is Luka Doncic with Slovenia. But Slovenia is not a good team at all.
Also got Nikola Jokic.
Serbia didn't make it.
Serbia didn't qualify.
Yeah. But no. Yeah. I think if they don't win gold, it's an embarrassment regardless. Yeah. Any final thoughts on men's basketball or any other team in the basketball?
USA.
I just want to shout out Gershon Yabusele from France, the Dancing Bear. If you are a Celtics fan, you remember that the Celtics drafted this guy 16th overall, I don't know, 5 years back. And I just want to shout him out because he's a big man and not a big man's body. He's just a funny guy to watch play. And he did play pretty well for France. He started for them and he put up a nice performance. So shout out to Gershon. I don't know where the heck you're playing right now, but shout out to all the Celtics fans that remember him, and shout out to the Dancing Bear. That's all I have to say.
The only reason I remember him is because he played for Shanghai with Jimmer like 3 years ago. That's the only reason why I know him. I mean, I knew him in the NBA, but that's the reason why I was given the little cheer for him. But now, any final thoughts before we head into our next topic? All right. Olympics continue this week, guys. Watch it if you can. There's a lot of great events coming up with soccer, basketball, gymnastics, you name it. A lot of great events. I'm sure we'll see maybe a go to the week or two with an athlete, but we're going to head into our next topic.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We are now going to be talking about the NBA Finals that concluded this past week. We saw the Milwaukee Bucks take home the NBA championship after winning 4 straight games over the Phoenix. It posed some really great questions for us here at Go Chat. Can the Bucks do it again? Are they building a dynasty? What's next for Giannis, and where does Giannis rank among the NBA currently today? Matt, I'm going to swing it to you first. Just give me a little breakdown what you thought about the last couple of games of the NBA Finals there before we swing into those real questions.
Bucks and 6, baby. I think that's the first thing I said when the Bucks beat the Hawks to play the Suns. It's the first thing I said. I think Bucks are going to win in 6, and they ended up doing it. I mean, the freaking nature, Giannis. Not even going to try to pronounce his last name because half the time I get it right, and I'm not gonna take that 50%. But Giannis is just a freaking nature. Totally deserved that championship. I was so happy for him to win that MVP, win that championship. And I mean, what else can I say other than the Suns just did what they do best, lose. with their team in general, they do what they do best and lose. I mean, losing 4 straight. I mean, I don't know. It was just awful.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, obviously, after game 2, Giannis came out and took control of the series. Obviously, Chris Middleton had that great game 4, but other than that, it was all Giannis. Obviously, I think the biggest thing after game 2, the Bucks kind of changed up their defensive scheme and started playing a lot better against the pick and roll with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. But shout out to Giannis and the Bucks. I just want to touch on the Bucks for 1 second, okay, guys?
You mean the Suns, but yeah.
Did I not say the Suns? I'm sorry. The Suns. Shout out to them too. A lot of people didn't think that they were going to be able to get to the finals, but they were just disappointing. Obviously, they kept a lot of the games after game 2 close, but going out and losing 4 straight, that kind of sucks really a lot. And we could dive deeper into why they lost, but basically the reason was that they just couldn't defend Giannis. I don't know why they didn't go back to the Miami Heat series from last year or what Toronto did when they went down 2-0 to the Bucks and then they won 4 straight. But that's pretty much all I'm going to say. Disappointing for the Suns, but great run for them. And Giannis, he got his ring. He's only 26. Let's see where he goes from here.
Yeah, I don't think there was a more deserving team in the NBA this year other than the Milwaukee Bucks to bring that home. We think about championships in recent memory. We had the Miami Heat Big Three, Golden State with a super team. There was rumors before the start of this NBA season that Giannis wanted to go and join the Warriors or someone to find a ring, and he stayed in Milwaukee and he got himself a ring. Him, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez off the bench. They did what they had to do to find themselves a way to get that NBA championship ring. And I just think they were the most deserving team throughout the NBA all year. Giannis is a freak of nature. I mean, that's his nickname there in the NBA is a freak of nature. I thought it was amazing. He dropped 50 in game 6, then went over to Chick-fil-A and got 50 nuggets. Did you guys see his Instagram live when he was holding the trophy in the car?
I saw clips. I didn't see the whole thing live.
He is the most down-to-earth, just nice guy that you would just ever talk to. He's up there at the drive-thru and he's talking to the girl at the window. He's like, "Can I put you on camera?" And it's just he's just so genuine and nice while he's doing that. And he's having people touch the Larry O'Brien trophy. He's just a great guy. He's very deserving of having that ring, that MVP award there in his trophy case. And like Mike said, he's only 26. A lot more to come from Giannis.
It is. I mean, I'm excited to see where this guy takes it next. Won the 2 MVPs in a row. Some people say he didn't deserve the second MVP. I mean, you could debate that if you want. And now going out and winning the MVP in the playoffs and of course, the championship trophy. Couldn't be any happier for him. Kobe tweeted out to him win the MVP. He did that. Final challenge, win a championship. He ended up doing that. So, and I think that was one of the best things I've seen post NBA championship was just that tweet from Kobe and how genuinely happy Giannis is with staying in Milwaukee. It's the NBA. You could join a super team so easily, but he decided to stay in Milwaukee, and I think that's fantastic. Moving towards Giannis, where do you think Giannis ranks in the NBA? I mean, we've had some very controversial NBA ranking, not controversial, but entertaining NBA rankings, in my opinion, where we argued with each other. So Giannis wins that championship, and some people would hold that against him. You know, you can't play in the playoffs, you can't win a championship, you're not good, blah, 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 blah. Even though he's winning MVPs, Defensive Player of the Years, they got to say whatever they want. Now he's got it. And now after seeing this whole season, Connor, where do you think Giannis ranks in the NBA? If you had to rank him.
I think he's the second best player in the NBA right now. The only player that I put him behind is Kevin Durant, just because of how explosive Kevin Durant is. I mean, we got to remember, even the Kevin Durant that we saw this year isn't 100% fully Kevin Durant. After you tear your Achilles and coming back, you never know what you're going to get from a player. And I think Kevin Durant still exploded, even coming back from that injury. And I think it's just going to keep getting better for Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets as they move forward. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think, ranks up right there next to him. And, you know, who knows? He gets another MVP trophy in there. He gets another Larry O'Brien trophy, another ring. Who knows? Giannis could eventually move up to that number one spot. But for right now, I have him at number 2.
In front of your precious LeBron James.
Yeah, after the year that LeBron and the Lakers had, LeBron's career resume, I think, took a major hit this year.
So is he the GOAT? I know this is getting off task, but still.
It's a much more tough question for me now than it is before. I think I give the edge right now to Michael Jordan. I'd say if LeBron goes out there next season and he wins another championship, I think it sways back the other way. But with his first year in LA and this most recent year here in LA, I think it sways towards Michael Jordan in my head right now.
Yeah, LeBron's gonna need help if he wanted to. Mike, I mean, looking back at the start bench cut, we had Giannis, LeBron, and Kawhi Leonard. Mike, you cut Giannis. What do you think of him now?
That was what?
A year and a half.
A year and a half.
About a year, like 2 months and 1 month ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a while ago, and honestly, things have changed since then. I'm gonna agree with Connor. I think he's the second best player in the NBA behind Kevin Durant right now, and I think he's so close. He's so close, and I think he's this close for one reason. He's so dominant offensively. You know, we saw him. Obviously, he still has trouble shooting the ball from the free throw line, but in Game 6, he stepped up and shot over 95%. It was absolutely clutch. Right. But I think what's so impressive about Giannis, and I don't think any other player in the NBA does this, probably besides Russell Westbrook, how much effort he gives both offensively and defensively, especially when you're the number one option carrying that load. No one else in the NBA can do it. LeBron, he couldn't do it in LA or Cleveland, carry both the offense and the defense. Kevin Durant, obviously he's a little older now, but he never really was that guy. Kawhi Leonard, I think you can make the case for him, but I still think he does not give as much effort as Giannis does on both ends of the court. And I think just some of his blocks in the finals, we saw the game-saving block against DeAndre Ayton. And I remember in Game 6, I forgot who shot the ball, but it was like kind of a floater. He just reached up and he looked like he was floating in the air, and he just snatched it out in midair. It was so impressive, the effort he gives on both sides of the court while consistently putting up 40, 50 points a game in the playoffs, in the finals. It's just really impressive. But the only reason I'll put Kevin Durant over him is that I just think Kevin Durant played better when they faced off in the semifinals. And I just think the only reason why Kevin Durant didn't win that series was because of an inch, right? And legitimately an inch changed the course of NBA history, and we could be sitting here talking about a whole different ball game right now. You know what I mean? And even if James Harden was fully healthy, I still think the Nets go out and win that series. But that's a bunch of ifs, right? I still think that KD played better than Giannis that series. And obviously, you guys know I can love Kawhi, but And if he didn't get hurt, who knows what would have happened. But I think that partially torn ACL, we'll see how he recovers from that. I'm hoping he stays with the Clippers. I think that's the best spot for him. But I'll put him at 3 right now behind Giannis and KD. I rambled for a little bit. I know I tend to do that sometimes. But Matt, go ahead. What are you thinking?
I thought you were gonna go into like Kawhi Leonard, like free agency talks
No.
for a second. It was the alley hoop from Drew Holiday to Giannis that you were talking about, right? When he was floating in the air, or no?
No. He had like a game 6. There was a block where I forgot who tried to hit a floater, but he just got up there and pushed the ball down the court, and I was just so impressed. That's when I realized that he's just different than everyone else. No one else can do what he does.
Yeah. Okay. Now I understand. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what
Ayuk was fantastic as well.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with our NBA takes because we're just agreeing now at this point. Yeah, Kevin Durant's the best. I just said it before. He's the best player in the world. Cold-blooded killer, like you said. The shot to send it into overtime, almost an inch away from being a 3-pointer. Kevin Durant played fantastic for the Nets, especially against the Bucks and lining up against Giannis. So I got Kevin Durant at 1. And then Giannis at 2. I've always been high on Giannis. So Giannis being at 2. I can't really tell you who I'd pick for 3. I don't know if it would be
Kawhi Leonard.
Not Kawhi Leonard. Maybe Jason Tatum. No, he's 25th already on my list. He's behind Ben Simmons. But but third, I'm thinking third, maybe Luka, maybe LaFraud. I don't know. We'll see how LaFraud does next year. But yeah, Giannis, I would rank him just second. I mean, you guys said it perfectly. I'm not gonna just rebuttal everything that you guys said, but Giannis would be second. Last question before we head into the go of the week: are the Bucks gonna repeat? Do we think they could end up being a dynasty? Anyone want to start?
I'll go first, but first I want to shout out to Steph. Steph could really
Steph.
That spot behind 3, and neither of you guys mentioned him. I'd have him at 4, but whatever. That's a whole different conversation for a different day. If I'm being honest, I don't know, because Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton need to step up more consistently in the playoffs for the Bucks to be a dynasty. I'm not worried about Giannis. Giannis is going to go out and he's going to do what he's going to do. I think he took his game to another level this playoffs. And obviously there's a way to like slow him down, right? But when you need so many people to try and slow him down, that your other guys got to step up. And Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, they would come out and have 40-point games and stuff like that. But the next 3 games, they would shoot 30% from the field. That's not going to cut it if you want to win championship after championship after championship. So the bottom line is they totally can, but I don't think they will, because I don't trust Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton to consistently be there and support Giannis game in and game out.
Connor, final thoughts?
I'm going to say no. I don't think they repeat next year. I think there's going to be a lot of players coming back with vengeances. We mentioned LeBron James. I think he's going to want to come back and get himself back to the finals. Him and AD. I think he's going to play like a madman next year. I think Damian Lillard's going to try to show up
on Philly.
Maybe not even in Portland. I would say that he may be on a different team to start the new season there in October or whenever they're starting the season. But I'm going to say no. The Bucks do not repeat.
I'm going to say maybe.
No, that's a bogus answer. That's a bogus answer.
If Giannis continues to elevate his game, and you might think he can't really elevate his game anymore.
What if Giannis starts hitting fadeaway threes? Like,
if Giannis just elevates his game, they're going to be a dynasty, because I think. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'm thinking about back in my head. The Nets. The Nets are dogs, and they are in the Eastern Conference. So it's like, are the Nets going to be fully healthy enough? It's just too much. Are the Nets going to be fully healthy enough to compete against the Milwaukee Bucks? Are the Philadelphia 76ers just going to end up being a whole dynasty over there? Just kidding. Doc Rivers can't win a playoff series to save his life.
That is a yes or no question. do the Bucks win the NBA championship next year?
Next year, no. Dynasty,
Possibly.
possibly yes. I can't say yes or no to that, but
The dynasty question is much harder to answer.
Dynasty possibly yes if Giannis can elevate his game and he can. Honestly, he's probably gonna have to carry the load in
I
Milwaukee.
think over the next few years, you're going to start to slowly see guys like LeBron and Steph and KD get to have their age catch up to them a little. It's not going to be next year, might not even be 2 years from now, but 3 to 5 years down the road, we're going to see Giannis in his peak physical prime, where he's 28 to 32 years old, and we're going to see LeBron probably out of the league, which is something we really can't fathom, because ever since we've been born, he's been in the league, which is crazy to say within itself. But KD is going to be 37.
We should throw a party when he retires.
I mean,
it's like really a retirement party, or I'm glad he's gone party.
I'm glad he's gone party.
But it's going to be weird to see a bunch of guys that, we're younger. I think Matt, we're not even 20 yet, so we really haven't seen like a full wave of NBA superstars retire and really phase out of the league. So that's going to be like the first time for us to see that happen. But I think during that time period, you're going to see Giannis and Luka and Jason Tatum and Zion Wilson. I don't want to hear this Jason Tatum nonsense anymore. I'm just saying, you're going to see those guys be the top 5 players in the NBA and replace those superstars that are going to age out. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tatum, he might, if he leaves Boston, I'll give him that. Like he'll have like a full out just peak. He's gonna need some help.
Philly, he'll be the best player in the world, is what I'm hearing.
No, I think he just needs help. But
he needs help.
But like you said, yeah, I mean, when those guys phase out, the only superstar I really think that really retired in our time is Kobe Bryant, who unfortunately passed away.
Maybe Tim Duncan, but
yeah,
that was a little ahead of our time as well.
Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
I'm talking about like Kobe Bryant caliber, Connor. Dwayne Wade, great still, but not like a Kobe Bryant caliber player. But yeah, with Luka's gonna be there. Maybe if Luka teams up with Giannis in Milwaukee, then they have a
oh my god,
they have a
that
dynasty.
would be so unfair. That would be so unfair.
And then with Zion, Bronny James and Giannis, who knows? Giannis's future is so bright because he's only 26.
We've gotten very off topic here.
Bronny James and Giannis.
We've had a very basketball centric episode. We hope you enjoy it. We talked about the USA basketball. We were talking about the NBA. Obviously, won't be a lot of basketball talk here unless it is about the Olympics. The NBA will be back again late October, early November. So then we'll really get into that and early preseason predictions as we get closer to those times. But that's going to be all for our basketball segments today. We're going to go into our Go to the Week next and finish up this episode.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back with our final segment of this episode, the Go of the Week. 2 weeks ago, I did win. I tooted my little horn, Connor. I tooted my little horn for you.
Fine, just give Matt another win in his book, I guess. He's going to go back and watch this later as he's editing this, and he's going to toot his little horn over there. We know what Matt does. But
last week, Mike did win Go of the Week with Giannis. Great win. Of course, we just talked about Giannis, how great he is. Mike, do you think you're going to two-peat here?
I don't think so, because you got dibs on
a player,
a very familiar guy at the beginning of the week. So listen, I'm gonna give it a shot. And I honestly think he has a chance, because Fernando Tatis Jr. is playing out of his mind right now. Obviously, me and Matt, did a little dookie on him a couple weeks ago, but like I said before, he's honestly one of the best players in the MLB, and he's making history right now. And he's the first person to hit 500. I mean, no, not 500 home runs. 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in their first 162 games in the MLB. That has never been done before in MLB history. And he also is the fastest player to hit 30 home runs in 82 games like for his age. The last person to do that was Cal Ripken Jr. at age 23, and Tatis is better than him. So he's just making history right now, and that's why he's my goal of the week. He continues to play amazing. The Padres are playing really well, and Tatis is really making a push for the MVP right now with DeGrom out.
Yeah, there is Connor's best male athlete, but not the best player in the MLB. Connor, I'm gonna swing it to you. Go of the week. Who do you got?
Well, I'm going to be the first person on the podcast to go with an Olympian for go to the week. I'm going to go
Technically not, but go ahead. This
currently,
year's Olympics, yes. But
currently in the Olympics.
currently, yes, not Olympian, but yeah.
I hate you. I'm going to go with Anastasia Zolotic. I might have butchered that last name, and I apologize, but she is the first American woman to win the gold medal in the Taekwondo event there in Tokyo and in all of the prior Olympics. And she brought home just the fourth gold medal for the United States very early on into the Olympics as they started on Friday. But obviously, to do anything in the Olympics is a great achievement. To be there is a great achievement. To win a gold medal is a great achievement, and to be the first woman to do all of those things and to do them at an extremely high level and what she did is incredibly incredible. So Anastasia, you're going to be my go to the week. I'm not going to pronounce your last name again.
Well, hold on, let me clarify. The first American woman, not the first woman, because obviously the event has been around. Anyways, Matt, sorry.
I'm going with Giannis. That's all I need to say. Listen, Giannis won the MVP of the playoffs.
You know what? Honestly, I think Giannis should get 0 votes because Andre Vasilevsky got 0 votes when he won the Conn Smythe. So, and they argue
about hockey. No one cares about hockey.
They arguably contribute the same amount to their team. I mean, whatever.
Who won that week? What week was that?
It was Vasilevsky. I don't know.
Who did I have? I won.
Did you win that week?
Who did I have 2 weeks ago?
Matt wins every other week, so.
No, wait. Who did I have 2 weeks ago? Oh, Messi. Of course.
Oh, I think Messi won.
Yes, he did win. Messi won against Connor's guy by 1 vote.
Who'd you pick, Connor?
I don't remember who I picked. It was a baseball guy.
It was Garrett Cole
Garrett
for like
Cole,
1
yeah.
game performance, whatever.
Messi's was a 1-game performance, and he didn't even perform well in the finals.
I mean, the Gold Cup, I think they played more than 1 game that week. And that wasn't the point of the reason why I gave it.
Whatever. Former go to the week, it doesn't matter. We all know Matt's going to win this one. There's no point.
No, Tatis is coming, baby. Tatis is coming, and he's going to take it all. Take a whole bunch of like 4 votes, and Matt's going to get like 15.
I'll have one.
Giannis. Yeah, you'll have one. Giannis. Giannis. That's all I need to say. MVP of the playoffs. Won the trophy finally. Didn't choke in the playoffs like everyone said that he was going to do. I honestly think you guys could have picked Budenholzer and maybe it would have been a better race. No, you don't think so?
No.
All right. Well,
maybe I could have picked Evan Fournier for dropping 20 on the U.S. Olympic team.
Yeah. So that's all for Go Chat. Any final thoughts? Any final banter?
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's all I have to say. Giannis Go of the Week, Bucks and 6. We are Go Chat. Hit the subscribe button. Simple terms. We are Go Chat. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram to keep up with everything Go Chat. We got the Go picks coming out later today, possibly tomorrow. We'll see what ends up happening. Let's be real. We just figured that out like an hour before it happens. But that is all for Go of the Week. We will see you guys next week.
Woo!